When you're gardening, it's like you're having a massage, even though it's really hard work. It's the mental softness of it. The fact that I can sit here and allow all those thoughts to come and go in my head without any kind of judgment, just let them pass back and forth. At the end of the day, I just feel like I've been in therapy all day, and I feel so much better. And I guess in a sense I have been. As someone who's in recovery, which I am now, I think, I am always looking for ways to quiet that voice inside my head that tells me to do the wrong thing. That sweet, beautiful voice that's in my own voice that's always telling me to make the wrong decision. And I think the biggest thing that gardening does for me is that I'm here, normally alone, and I'm sitting with my thoughts, which race back and forth between good and bad, good and bad. But I find, like at the beginning of a job, say the beginning of the day, I may get up in the morning and have all this negative jargon going on in my head. And invariably, by the time the day is over, and I get back to my front door and I turn the key, I have what I find a very palpable energy current running through my body. I am actually tingling, and I find most of it is going down my spine, up and down my spine. And it is such a good feeling to feel like that I've had those few hours just to sit with myself and allow bad thoughts and good thoughts to come and go, but not let them dictate my day and what I do and what I think. And it's almost a cleansing feeling, right? But it is that like really palpable feeling of a current, an energy current going through my body. And I am certain, my belief is that the electromagnetic current in the earth, and apparently in all objects on the planet, I think when you garden that actually enters your body. And why couldn't it, right? Because we have all kinds of electromagnetic current in our body, our brain circuitry, our heart, and our organs, and it just makes sense to me that that could flow right into me. Why couldn't it flow into me and out of me and exchange whenever I'm in contact with it? I just know that when I finish a gardening shift, man, I feel radically different than when I began. I keep going on about how much I love gardening, and indeed, it is true, I love gardening. But with every job, there's things I can't friggin' stand, and this is one of them. Digging, especially with my bad hip. I'm right-handed, but for some reason I use my left leg when I'm driving a shovel or any implement that needs to be driven into the ground. My left leg is where I had the operation this winter in my hip, and I'm trying not to tax it too much, but when you're gardening, you know, your left hip is often called upon. So I'm trying to get rid of all this dirt because I created this garden for my friend Sheila a couple years ago now, and we threw all of the gout weed and shit on back of the shed, and now it's time for it to be removed. And that's what I'm doing, and I friggin' hates it. But I loves her, so I'm doing it, and I'm gonna do a good job. I'm trying to think of the parallel to recovery, and not the last video we did, that was about gratitude. But the one before that, I pretty much sat through the whole video, and in the interest of being honest with you guys about where I am, I thought it was time to tell you that I was indeed still in active addiction. Oh, the old gray mare ain't what she used to be. It just goes to show that things can turn around very quickly when I start doing things differently. And so I have been doing things very differently. And so much so that this week I'm ready to start my step work again. And so I've touched base with my sponsor, and I'm going to have a phone conversation with him this afternoon. And we can't actually meet till next week. But that's not to say that I can't get off my ass and show up and start doing what I can do. And what I can do at this point, you know, is get my workbook out. So I guess, you know, I've got some energy going, physical energy. I've been eating okay and gaining a bit of weight. And every day getting up, and first thing before anything else is to think about what I'm grateful for. And even though my story, you know, has been difficult and it's been hard to get myself away from using, I have gotten up each day and said, you know what, there's like so much that I'm grateful for. Trying to get someone to come take all that fill now. One thing that is extremely important to me right now is to assess the people in my life, the places that I carry myself to, the physical places, and the things that are around me, the things that are in my life that are contrary to trying to stay clean. And here I'm trying to get out all the crap, right? Because it is no good for her garden. It's full of gout weed, which will grow into the rest of the plants and the beds. And I was going to sift through it, which is a really arduous task, but I just hate throwing away soil that looks so good. But the fact is that it's not good. And I'm doing that in my life too, you know. I'm staying away from people that are not good for me, and I am staying away from places that are not good for me. But there are places in my apartment that are not good for me, right? There are chairs that I've used in. There are sort of, the setup is the way it was when I was using. And so I'm trying to switch that around now, move things around and give them a fresher look. Anything you do at this point, right, to change the atmosphere in your life, anything I do to change the atmosphere in my life is really important. Every day I get up, I gotta hit the ground running, right? And for me right now, that just means, aside from those first few minutes where I open my eyes and I go, I do not want to get out of bed. Once I get past that, which I expect most people have to get past, as soon as my feet hit the floor, I have to say, thanks, just for being able to wake up and have another chance. And I think like that's an awesome thing to have another chance, right? And I know for myself, when I express that gratitude right from the get-go at the beginning of the day, it colors my day in a beautiful way. And then I find I'm looking for gratitude, and I'm practicing gratitude all day, and I'm smiling, and I'm talking to people, and I'm looking for sad faces that I can smile at. And, you know, it just makes me feel really good. And I need every ounce of feeling good. Anything that makes me feel good at this point is good. So I'm excited about the step work. I wouldn't say I'm overcome by it at this point, because I'm not actually right into it, but I have started the reading, and there are 69 questions in step 1. Which is a bit overwhelming, right? So I don't look at the total, I look at, maybe I do a couple questions a day, right? And then I take that section of the reading and the questions and spend a couple days just looking for examples of it, or thinking about my life and being introspective about how those couple of pages and those questions relate to my life. Step work is not a race. Everybody does it at their own pace. And it's important that you do it at your own pace, right? Because everybody's recovery program is individual. We are all very unique. I sure wish I had a sifter. Oh, I can't stand throwing dirt away. I've only gotten to the end of step 3, the last time I worked the steps, which I think is I came to believe in something. That a power greater than myself could lead me to sanity. It's something like that. 12-steppers might be laughing at me now because I misquoted that, but it's to that end. And then step 4 you start making an inventory of everything that is messed up in your life and in your personality and the way you live. And that's when a lot of people run scared, right? Because it's very difficult to face all that stuff, especially when you are in early recovery, and probably the thing that speaks loudest to you is what's wrong with you, right? And for me, I mean, that's absolutely true. So you got to get beyond that, and that fourth step is like really important. It's very difficult to face all that stuff, but it's not just about facing the stuff that's wrong with you. It's about recognizing the things that are good about you. And thanks to my loving friends and my family. People are always pointing out to me what's good about me. My favorite parts of the day are when I run into someone who's not feeling great, and I get to smile at them and say hello, and I guess they can just see in my disposition that I'm serious, right? You matter. And to see a smile come on their face, or a look of surprise, because they don't expect people to do that for them. And I feel that's my responsibility, right? I've lived a long time with some great hardships, self-induced hardships because of addiction, and I still have that feeling that I don't have it as bad as a lot of people do, and I don't. And that is part of my gratitude too, is just realizing that, you know, here I am, I'm still walking. It's 5 months after a left hip joint arthrotomy, debridement, irrigation, and culture. I mean, holy shit! And I'm walking great, you know, and my joints are lubricated, and I'm out digging holes in gardens, and I'm out around town with my friend Paul, and we're doing video projects, and you know what? Things are paying off in a big way. And so I am grateful for that. I'm grateful that my way of thinking has shifted from poor me, I'm on the pity pot, why isn't anything good happening, to, oh my God, good things are happening. As good old Yoda says, do or do not, there is no try.